Okay, so with regards to my 4th of July speech from 2015, I gave that speech. I touched on some social issues. I think I did I was pressed for time, bit off more than I could chew, and a good portion of that I think was probably expressed ineloquently. So we had a coffee a week later, and there were a lot of people there, 50 plus, and for well over an hour, first I clarified my remarks, the portions that I regretted that I needed to add, and I clarified some of those comments, and then I listened to the folks there, and then from then I've moved on. I offered to meet with people one-on-one to further clarify and discuss, and a few people took me up on that offer. We had good discussions, but I've moved on, and I haven't brought up those issues since. It's nothing. I'm not a social issues warrior. I don't think the mayor of Mundelein should be a social issues warrior. I haven't mentioned those topics since then. And I really believe that the real issues are what we've really, you guys have done a great job of presenting some of the real issues in our town, which is downtown redevelopment, attracting businesses. And when people come looking in town to live, they don't ask, what's the mayor's view on social issues. They want to know, is it a safe place to live? Is it business friendly? What's the downtown like? Is it a fun place to go and hang out? And that's what we're working towards.
So wait, that wasn't a social issue, but my controversy that I'll address. So I hosted some forums on knowing your rights. I'm pretty constitutional. That's how it's been the entire time that I've been on the board and when I campaigned in 2013. It was kind of at a very rough time in the United States where there was conflict going on, and me being proactive. In case you couldn't tell by the answers that I've given you tonight, I'm very high level. And so I was looking for a way that we could diffuse this. And so I hosted these events on what you should do when you get pulled over. Since then, because I do go to continuing education, so I can kind of see what comes, in the horizon, the state has passed mandated legislation that all high school students must take a course on what to do when you get pulled over. Santa Maria del Popolo, Lavinia Church hosted, a Know Your Rights forum, including one at MHS, and there's one at CLC in the coming weeks. So that was the controversy, but in the long run, it's something that ended up happening all over the state and nationally.
I do want to address Holly Kim's Know Your Rights forums, because this did impact a portion of our community, and I need to address it. So the mayor is the highest ranking law enforcement officer, technically the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the village. The mayor can technically fire the police chief and then hire a new one with the approval of the board. And so that's very important then that the mayor have two goals in mind, and that is to help the police force have the community's trust. That's a huge goal, and Chief Gunther and I are on the same page there. We are doing everything we can to engender trust between the public and our department, and also to elevate the stature of our police department. Now, what's going on with the high school and having policemen come in and teach here, that's community policing, where that's a touch point of non-conflict, where it's helping the trust between the public and the police department, is elevating the stature. The Know Your Rights forum that she hosted, though, did not have those goals in mind. She brought in a defense attorney specializing in police misconduct. I've seen the handout from that, and it was at the end of there was some anti-police verbiage in the handout when you're instructing criminals and how to better not cooperate with the police, case study after case study. That did not help things at all, and it really put a rift between the police department and her. It was a big problem, and it still reverberates a bit today.
So to clarify, the handouts are ones you can find on the internet that are given at several colleges all around town. No one up here attended, so they wouldn't know what we talked about. It was all benign, and the guy who gave the class is a lawyer who not only is a prosecutor, I mean, he's a criminal justice lawyer now, but he was a prosecutor in the past, so he can view it from both sides. And actually, he's running for village trustee in Northbrook to the state. He's a very good person. I will not say anything bad about him. You know, I think in all of this, when it comes to speaking about everyone else who's up here, I am constitutional and I did defend their First Amendment rights. One of them, I agreed that it may not have been the right venue, right? And then the other one, I said it was within his First Amendment rights to write the letter. And just because you are an elected official doesn't mean that you give up your freedoms of speech as well as a resident.
Trustee Kim held these protesting seminars. There was a Know Your Rights seminar on June 21st. The guest speaker was an attorney named Jason Hahn. And if you look at the Justice Entrepreneurs Project in Chicago's website, this is what it says about him. Jason Hahn's passion is to defend our civil rights by forcing the government to prove its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt in criminal trials. Here's the good part. He enforces civil rights by suing the police and prosecutors for misconduct. If you don't think that this seminar rocked the world of our police department, that's what happened. She is one of the bosses of all this staff we have. And for somebody like that to choose an outside attorney, what about having a Mundelein attorney? Keep it local. She could have done things better and never owned up to it.